Hi everybody, welcome to a special episode of Montgomery Focus. We are coming to you from That's My Dog Jr., the country's first teen-owned, teen-operated, teen-managed restaurant. We're here with the man behind the plan, Charles Lee, and he's going to explain to us why this is just the tip of the iceberg of all the awesomeness that's taking place here. Charles, welcome to Montgomery Focus.
Hey, thanks for coming down there. That's my dog, Jr.
That's my dog, Jr. So tell us, how did you come up with the idea for this concept, and how is it working thus far?
So the concept came when I got the vision overall, and I saw colorful buildings. I saw a restaurant where kids were kind of running it, dance studio, and a place where they were becoming entrepreneurs. I just never know that it was gonna all be under one help. So it's been going really good. It's been going really good thus far. But I started as That's My Dog.
Right.
And so that's pretty much where I got my start from. And so I started That's My Dog in the fall of 2012. And then by the winter of 2012, I started That's My Child. And I was kind of doing both of them, just giving 50% to That's My Dog, giving 50% to That's My Child. And I was like, man.
Now wait, That's My Child, what is that?
So it's a youth organization where we mentor the youth through arts, education, and entrepreneurship. And so That's My Dog Jr., that's where I was actually birthed from, because my purpose is definitely helping out with kids. Like, I want to mature kids, I want to mentor them and be there for them, right? But I couldn't do that working at Olive Garden. And so God gave me the idea of starting a hot dog stand. And so we started a hot dog stand, and from there we grew to a building. And I found myself, giving 50% to the for-profit restaurant, which was That's My Dog, and then giving the other 50% to That's My Child. And neither one was giving 100% because I was being stretched thin.
Right.
And then my family was kind of getting left what was left over. And so I was like, God, this really can't be like your will for me to be all over the place. And so he was like, I didn't give you That's My Dog for you to become a millionaire. I gave it to you because people probably wouldn't have took you serious as That's My Child if you wasn't a successful business owner already.
Right.
And so now that you already have it and have a name, now you use that for my ministry. And so that's what That's My Dog Jr. came from.
All right, well, let's roll it back a little bit. You were at Olive Garden working for someone else.
That's correct.
And then you started That's My Dog, and I remember seeing the hot dog stand in downtown Montgomery. Did you start with just one?
Start with just one hot dog cart. We started with just one hot dog cart. Now we got 3 hot dog carts, where we kind of set up simultaneously at different parts, like on base, in downtown Montgomery, and then we'd have one and we do events.
I got you. I remember seeing one in front of the Alabama Power Building on
Yeah.
Dexter.
So it's still there.
That had to be profitable.
Yeah, it's not going nowhere, and everybody loved it. They can kind of pay their bill, in between like shifts or on lunch break, and still get something to eat. Go pay their bill, come out, get something to eat, and go back to work.
Well, what gave you the confidence to say, I'm going to leave this guaranteed check from my old employer and take that leap of faith on my own and trust that would be able to sustain you, your family, and your vision?
Yeah, it was scary, no doubt, but I just figured I could either chase my own dream or I could keep chasing somebody else's dream. And I never even met the guy that started the dream for Olive Garden, I never even met no one above the district manager, and so I definitely wanted to kind of just control my own destiny. And so just took a leap, and it actually worked out.
And how did That's My Child get started? What were some of the earlier things that you were doing prior to you empowering the kids to run a restaurant?
Yeah, so when I first moved back to Montgomery, I knew God brought me back here for a purpose. I came back 11 years ago, and I bought a house over here in Chisholm, and I just was like, you know what, I'm here, I'm ready to make this impact. I started coaching basketball over at the Chisholm Community Center 11 years ago, just trying to make an impact. And 4 years in, I had a young guy, 11 years old. He came in and he had a brother that get killed trying to rob someone, and he ended up coming back to practice about 4 days later. And he was like, Coach, come outside. And I was like, what you need? And when I went outside, he was like, well, Coach, where can I hide my gun at? I don't want to disrespect the gym, And so when I took him home, I saw that the situation was real bad. I mean, we went in this house and You could see, you know, drugs on the table, guns on the table, underneath the table of the people that was at his house. And then when he came out, he was like, Coach, he's like, don't leave me here, Coach. He's like, don't leave me with these guys. They was just with my brother. When he got killed, they had guns and everything, and they let him die in the street. Take me with you, Coach. And so I knew it was bigger, you know, and then just teaching kids how to win like a basketball game for 2 hours. I needed to teach them how to win in life. I needed to be there for them. I needed to definitely listen to them. And that was my very first mentee. Because although I was coaching basketball for 4 years, I thought I was doing what God wanted me to do. I was winning some games, losing some games. But here it is, I don't even know where this young man stayed. You know, I didn't even know he was dying inside every day. And so I just knew it was a bigger need for me just to teach kids how to win games. I needed to teach them how to win in life. I needed to coach them in life all the way around. And so.
Now you said you came back to Montgomery.
I did.
But so that means you started out here, then you left, and then you came back. When did you leave? Where did you go to? What happened while you were there? And then what were the circumstances that brought you back to the capital of dreams?
Yeah, so I actually started off in Chicago, born and raised there. I left Chicago when I was 14 years old and came to Montgomery. And I came to Montgomery, I left here when I was 18 years old and moved to Florida. And then I ended up getting arrested in Florida. And then after I got out, I ended up coming back to Montgomery.
Okay, so I see the Chicago Bulls hat. So
yeah, gotta represent.
You got to represent. We got to get you a Biscuits hat, or maybe even.
I love the Biscuits. I got a Biscuits hat. I just didn't wear it today. It don't match. Like.
Sure. All right, so you got into some legal trouble in Florida. What were you doing, and what were the consequences of the trouble?
So I was selling drugs. I was selling drugs on a bigger scale there, and ended up getting arrested 2 times. One was well, it kind of started off as a robbery charge, but got broken down to a concealed weapon. I mean, you're having a concealed weapon, and the other one was a drug charge. And when they were trying to place me with a robbery charge in Florida, they started this 10-20 life program where it was 10 years if convicted with a firearm committing a crime, 20 years if the gun actually went off, and 25 years if the gun hit someone or whatever. But I was like, man, 10 years? That was like my first deal that they came with me with. And I was like, I've never even been to prison a day in my life. Can I take a tour or something, you know, or stand there 2 weeks or something just before I make a decision like
this? Just to get scared straight or something.
Right, it was too much. And so at that point, I was like, God, if you for real, like I need to talk to you because there's no way I could do this on my own. And so that pretty much stemmed the relationship with God because I really had no relationship. And I had no purpose for life. I was just really out here living day to day, whatever came my way, or trying to make a little extra money, have a little fun or whatever, you know. And so at that particular time, you know, God did. He was like, I got you. And he came into my life. I ended up giving the system 2 years of my life. But that was a chance for me to kind of sit down and figure out who I was and what was my purpose. Like, God, why did you create me? You know, why was my childhood so messed up? It was like, because I got a purpose for you. I need you to go back and redirect as many kids as you can, you know, just by your life experience, you know, and just give them some hope. And so I figured, you know, he was giving me dreams as I was locked up. You know, he was giving me those visions that I was having about colorful buildings and, you know, kids working inside of them and, you know, dance studio and a place for the kids to listen to, be able the military to come talk to them and stuff. And I was just like, wow, this is cool. And I was like, you know, where would I do this at? You know, like Scenic Highway, you know, Pensacola Boulevard. He was like, no, you're going back to Montgomery. And I was like,
God brought you back here.
He did. And so I ended up talking to my wife the next morning on the phone. And you know, after he told me I was going back, because I was like, nah, this got to be the devil. Like I already promised I wasn't going back to Montgomery.
Right.
And I ended up calling her on the phone. And when I called her, she was like, man, I had the weirdest dream ever. And I was like, what was the dream? She's like, we moved back to Montgomery, Alabama. and so I knew it was God. Even when I got out, she had the house packed up, and she was like, you know, it's time to go. I was like, nah, we finna unpack. We're not going until every resource that I had there was kind of spoiled until I knew it was like, God, like, okay, you need to go back.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the autobiography of Malcolm X, but he too got into legal trouble, and while he was incarcerated, that's when he had his spiritual awakening.
Yeah, I think it's time to sit down. Like you have a lot of time on your hands when you're incarcerated, you know, and so it gives you time to kind of read and stuff that you might have never read before.
But now, wait, not everyone that is behind bars uses that time for a positive moment. I mean, in fact, there are issues where once they get out, there is recidivism and they get back in trouble. So again, you're giving God the credit for you being locked up and then reaching higher planes.
That's true, because like for me, everyone's different. Everyone finds a higher power on their bending knees, right? And it don't matter like how you get there. Some people do it after they found out they get cancer or AIDS or a sickness or whatever, and it's just a wake-up call. And for me, that's what it was. You can take heed of these wake-up calls, or some people just can kind of continue until it's the destruction. And so I heard, you know, his voice really clearly because I did seek him. You know, I could have just was like, well, forget it. I'm gonna go and do this time or whatever, and I can go in here and. But I reached out to him, and he was there ready. Like, hey, I'm glad you finally come home now. And so, it was just a good time, you know. And a lot of people were like, you know, they always say, oh man, you know, like you found God in jail, and you found. And I wouldn't say that because our relationship kind of happened before I actually went in, right? But what I did find when I was locked up was my purpose, you know? And I think that's what separates a lot of people, because if you living every day and you don't know your purpose, it's easy for you to get off track, you know, because you really have no track. Right. You just pretty much whatever happens, happens. But once you figure out your purpose, what it is in life, what you was created to do, it's so easy because every day you gotta focus. And even though you might get off track, you still got that focus to kind of get back on track. Like, oh man, I got off track, man. This is not where I'm supposed to be at. Let me get back on track, and so.
Now, a lot of people get into the thug life, and they get addicted to the money that comes through with it, and then going straight requires them to have lower income, less access to the things they got accustomed to. How were you able to have the maturity to say, I don't want the profits of ill-gotten gains?
Man, and it's hard too. It's really hard just because of the money. Like, I would make $10,000 for one party. You know how long it takes? How many hot dogs I gotta sell?
Brother, I'm here. I know.
And that was one transaction. But one thing that I remember is I've been selling drugs since I was 11 years old.
Since you were 11 years old?
11 years old.
In Chicago?
In Chicago, yes sir. And
wait, I'm sorry, how does an 11-year-old get recruited to sell drugs?
So in Chicago, it's so different, right? But what happened was I had two sisters that ended up getting pregnant. One of my sisters was 13 years old, my other sister was 14 years old. They came to me because both of my parents were still getting high. They were hooked on crack cocaine, so they came to me and they was like, hey man, we hungry, like what we gonna do? I went to my bigger cousin because he was selling drugs on the block or whatever. And I was just telling him like, man, we hungry. Like, can we get some money? I thought he was gonna take us to the grocery store or McDonald's or something, but he took me to the block of 4030 Calumet and he gave me 20 rocks of cocaine. And he was like, for every $10 bag of, every $10 rock that I sold, I would get $2 for it. But to answer your question, I started selling to try to help out my sisters.
Sure.
And then it actually, you know, as my mother got on track or whatever, it was actually benefit to her too, you know, because I was able to pay some of the bills, I was able to keep the lights on so we wasn't in the dark.
Right.
And then when I went to Florida and I started selling drugs, because I pretty much kind of sold drugs the whole time at some kind of level. Even when I was going to school here in Montgomery, I would sell weed, you know, I would take weed to school to sell. And so it always gave my family like the hope that, you know, he got us, you know, he gonna definitely make something happen. But when I got locked up, I didn't, you know, right. Like I had money, and it's a great thing that I had a wife that she could actually still make transactions happen, right? But physically, I couldn't do nothing. So my nephews, all of my nephews and nieces, they all depended on me. My mom depended on me. My sisters depended on me. And I just felt like I let everybody down when I got locked up, you know, because I can't physically do anything for y'all. You know, I can only even make calls to people that just allow me to, you know, make the call. And so, you know, it's just, to me, I would never want to go back to that kind of life.
Sure.
I like being here. I like actually spending time. I like spending money on you when I want to, you know, and so I just know I'd never go back to that point, because to me that was a point of hopelessness, you know, and so.
And probably lucky that something more traumatic didn't happen to you, because, yeah. So now you come back to Montgomery and you're working with youth in Chisholm, and tell me some of the activities that you had for the youngsters after you decided to do more than just coach basketball.
Yeah, so we pretty much kind of just did like an assessment of like all the kids, because I started there at the Chisholm Community Center only because I was coaching basketball, and I was seeing like if kids not playing basketball, there's just a lot of kids around here without nothing to do. You know, they just either buying snacks or fighting or arguing, maybe shooting dice or something. And I was like, what if we ask these kids, what would they like to do? You know, what do y'all find fun? Do y'all want to dance? Y'all want to sing? Y'all want poetry, theater? Like, what would y'all like, you know? And whatever the kids said, the most of, we just found teachers and instructors that would say, you know what, I can teach theater, or I can teach dance, or I could do that. And the kids start to love it because now they got purpose, you know? It ain't just, hey, I don't got nothing to do. It's like, wow, we got to get ready for this dance recital or this dance battle or this choir performance or recital or anything, just because now instead of having nothing to do, no kind of goal set, it's like now I belong to a team, so I don't have to join the game. I belong to this dance team. They count on me just like I'm counting on them. So I got to be at practice because we got a battle coming up, and then we got a battle coming up. I got to know the routines. I got to know
What's a battle?
It's like when you show down. It's like you go against another crew, go against another team, and so
it's not violence. It's just a
yeah.
showdown, matching my skills against the other person's skills. Sure.
And they could do a one-on-one, or they could do it as a group. You know, they have captains where the captains battle each other. Then they have, you know, just different kinds, and it's really fun because now it just gives them a team to belong to. And a lot of times when kids join like gangs and stuff like that, it's just because they really want to be a part. They want to be a part of somebody's team. They want to be a part of a family. And maybe they're not getting that family orientation at home, so they want to be a part of something different.
Do you think your background, did the children, were they aware of your background, and how did that impact whether they thought you were a credible mentor or not?
Yeah, so a lot of them do know about my background just because I usually kind of tell kids as they enter about my life. Just so they'll know, like I used to be one of them, because a lot of times people feel like, why are you here? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't really just care about us, you know, like, and I let them know, like, I am here. I genuinely care because I know what it's like to be in your shoes, to be hopeless, or maybe not have a father consistent in your life, or a mom that could be there, or she might be working too hard, and now you just out here on your own trying to figure out what these streets could do for you, you know. And so I just want to let them know, like, I used to be that guy, and I took that route. And this is the results of that route. And you can check it out because it's true. Or you can listen to me or whatever and then just skip that whole route. And then we could together find purpose so we can put you on a different route, you know.
Now, I saw one of your social media posts from, a couple of years ago where you had some of your mentees or some of your proteges. Mm-hmm. And Charles, they were posing with firearms. Mm. And you were saying, look, this program isn't just for angels. Mm-hmm. You're reaching the kids who are most in need of your help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, because a lot of times people really don't see. A lot of times people think like, man, that's their choice, and you know, a lot of people from the outside, they don't really see what it's like to be trapped in this bubble of this is all you know. And you have to let a lot of people know out there too what's going on, because a lot of people don't know is a lot of murder going on out here that might not get covered on the news. There's a lot of violence or whatever, and just to kind of so they could see the transformation of one guy that might have been out here and he could have potentially robbed you, but instead now he's working with the chief of police or whatever and trying to redirect his life or whatever. And so a lot of times you really just got to let it be known, because a lot of times people don't know. A lot of times people go to Pike Road or, you know, out east somewhere in their own comfortable little bubble, and they forget about what's going on in North Montgomery or West Montgomery, the potential things could happen, because they feel like they are safe out there. Right. But what happens if these guys make it out there to you, you know? And so that's what makes our road definitely a lot better, because we trying to definitely change their mentality before they get out there to you, you know? And so just try to give them a wake-up call.
All right, so now how do you make the bold step to go beyond drama and rap battles to kids, I got an idea. You guys are going to own a restaurant. You're going to run the restaurant. You're going to manage the restaurant. It's going to be you in complete control. And what was the response from the kids, too?
So we started this Teen to Work program about 6 months ago, where overwhelmingly our kids wanted jobs. Everybody like, man, I want to work because I want to work. I want a job. I want to make some legit money. Right. I don't want to sell drugs. And so we like, cool. But we realized that they didn't know how to go and get a job. Mm-hmm. They thought they could go on flip-flops, or their pants sagging, or 20 minutes late with a great excuse. And we was telling them, like, this is why you're not getting a job, you know. Even your application, you know, the application, you don't got no references, you don't know your social security number. It's like, that's why you're not getting a job. And so we started the Teen to Work program to teach them 3 weeks of 1 hour a day. First, how do you get the job? We let them know if you're showing up on time, you late. You need to be 10 minutes early. Wow. You definitely need to have great eye-to-eye contact.
I might need to learn that lesson myself, but I'm
you
sorry.
You come on to the class, man. But just, you know, firm handshaking skills, great eye-to-eye contact, you know, yes ma'am, no sirs. And then after you get the job, you know, a lot of kids get a job, but then they don't know the next step. How am I going to get to work? How am I going to get slip-resistant shoes? You know, how am I going to submit to management? If he tell me go in there and clean those bathtubs or bathrooms and toilet stools, and I haven't had a father present, like, I'm like, nah, man, I ain't finna, you got the wrong person. But just walking them through those things. And then the third week is now that you got the job, you know, how do you excel? Because a lot of times they get a job and just get real comfortable. I'm making minimum wage, yeah, I'm bringing in something. But if you go on these with these intentional mindsets, saying, you know what, if I go in there 10 minutes early, every task that they give me, I definitely exceeded to the best of my ability. You know, I'm sharp, I'm always yes ma'am, no sir. That's how I get to shift leader. That's how I get to management. And so we were giving them those things, but as we graduate 10 to 12 students at a time, they wasn't taking our students in. They was like, oh man, well they still like 16 years old. I don't know, just because of the reputation they've already gotten from a lot of teenagers in, out, rowdy. And so we was like, hey, let's just find a place where we can hire them ourselves, you know, and that's where it pretty much came from.
Now, you got a campus here on Lower Wetumpka Road.
That's correct.
How did the property fall into your hands so that you could make this factory that is doing all of this great training for our young people?
Again, I got to get a glory to God.
Always.
I didn't even know this property was available and they was trying to sell it. Someone else kind of was like, hey man, because we were praying for, there's a really little tiny building across the street from That's My Dog in West Montgomery. It was a really small property and we got one that they were trying to sell it. And we started doing everything we could to get this property because we knew we were outgrowing the Chisholm community center. And so we were trying to get this property and it just didn't happen. You know, somebody ended up getting it before we did. And I was like, man, you know, and I talked to my pastor about it. He's like, man, that's too small. Like, it's so small, you can't do nothing with that. And so I was like, you're right. And we ended up getting a property donated to us on Fairview. And it was 10,000 square feet, so it was huge. But it had an oil well underneath that we didn't know, you know, it was just, and I was just like, you know, what is going on? But it took me through the whole process because when everybody was like, well, I was gonna get this building across the street from That's My Dog, but I didn't know how I was gonna even pay the light bill or nothing, you know. I was just like, God gonna do it, you know. Right. I ain't had no plan in place, you know. And then when we got this other one over here, it was like, okay, now we have to get $12,000 just to turn on the lights. So it's now like, okay, now you gotta get a plan in place because these lights gonna cost this much, this gas is gonna cost this much. And so it helped me to really pretty much get a plan. And then I got wind that the church that was here was Compassion 21.
Right.
And they was like, man, we're trying to let it go. We're trying to sell it. And we came through and we took a walk through it and I fell in love. I was like, I gotta get it, you know. And so that was just pretty much God. And it was in the community that we're already in. We were trying to buy something that on Fairview or West Montgomery, and we haven't been there for the last 7 years. We've been in North Montgomery for the last 7 years. So God just brought us here, man. And
this was meant to be.
It was meant to be, man. And it's everything that we could have thought about. You know, it already had like a place for the restaurant, had a place for the dance studio, it had a place for the entrepreneurship marketplace. It just had a place for all of those already. So it was.
Sure. All right, so now you start this restaurant. Do the authorities say, hey, this is a kid-operated thing, you don't have to meet the health standards or the safety codes, or you're adhering to the exact same rules and regulations as every other business?
Plus more.
Plus more, how
Plus
so?
more, because since they're kids, they have to go through a lot more training.
Right.
Each one of these kids definitely will hold their own serve certification. That way, each one of them have been through the course. And a lot of places where you go, every worker don't have those safe serve certification.
No, what is that? I've never heard of safe serve certification. Or
yeah, so
I thought you just asked, do you want fries with that, and you hand them the food.
Oh no. So it's pretty much food handling overall. Everything that has to do with food, from temperatures, how hot it needs to be, how cold it needs to be, how often you need to change your gloves, how often you need to wash your hands, what about your hair, just pretty much overall everything that only managers usually know, but we're making sure that each one of our kids have it. And then the labor laws, like, you know, they pretty much, as far as teenagers, they have strict laws where you have to really abide by different signs you have to hang up if you're employing teenagers. And so, you know, just those kinds. And then we also have pop-ups, so we have to go through the health inspection.
What is a pop-up?
And so a pop-up was something I kind of designed with the health department. because we don't want our kids to, have a bad health score. And so we schedule different pop-ins so they can come in and kind of give them a test.
Just an unannounced, impromptu. Yeah.
And so instead of them coming every 4 months, they'll come every other month just to make sure that they meet all the codes and just to make sure everybody is safe around here, because we don't want nobody getting sick just because they didn't have the right knowledge.
Sure. And we saw some video of the workers back there on the grill. They were humping, they were working.
Okay. Cool.
It wasn't a leisurely gig where you put your feet up and fix one burger every 15 minutes. So
man, I love it, man. I love it because they getting the experience, They really getting the experience. They getting how it is to kind of interact with the customers. And it's real life experience, They get a paycheck, so they see what it's like to earn money instead of having to go out here and do crazy things for money. They could come in here, actually work. They see what it's like. They get conflicts all the time. It's conflicts in that kitchen all the time, conflicts with customers all the time, and they get to see what it's like to resolve them, and not to act out or not to, go crazy or whatever, but how to breathe and think and then definitely make the best decision. And so when I was 16, I really didn't have opportunities like this, and so I thank God to be able to present it and be able to give other kids the opportunity.
Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. I needed a PhD to make an order because I came here the first day and they were, the brother at the register had to say, look, here, I'll fill it out for you. So he learned some good he was demonstrating some good customer service skills.
Cool,
it was great.
And the good thing about it is every day they're changing something. Okay. Every day we have a meeting at the end of the shift and we go through those suggestions and the cards that's in the suggestion box. And then whatever the customer said that they want to see change, because a lot of stuff sounds good in theory, like as we were all sitting down talking about it, like, hey, we'll do this like this, we'll do that like that, but then the customers come in and say, we hate this, change this, and so, and it's good to listen to them because those are the people that's coming in and the ones that's spending money, and so we definitely want to listen to their concerns and address them and make it better, and so. It's been pretty cool.
And the dog bone bowls. So tell me about that.
So
that really is my dog.
That's my dog. Yeah, you get the whole experience. You come in and you eat out of the dog bowls, and so it just add a little flavor to it. People come in and there's some good cookware, so.
Now, where are you getting these kids? How come they're not in school and they're here during the middle of the day?
Yeah, so we work with a lot of kids that's virtual school, so they could pretty much they don't have a set time to kind of go to school. They could definitely go to school in the evening times, and so those kids come to the evening. We got a lot of kids that's in GED, so the kids that kind of take their GED in the evening time, and also the kids that just graduated fresh from high school, so we definitely got some graduation from high school, and just the average Joe. The average Joe that just might have dropped out of school or something, and he's kind of walking through the neighborhood, maybe looking to kind of go in your house. We want to get them off the street and give them an opportunity to learn how to work, and this is the great hub for that.
Do you have age restrictions? I mean, if someone turns a certain birthday, then you got to tell them, sorry, this program's for younger folks, or what's the age range?
The age range
employee
is 14 to 19.
Okay.
And so the 14-year-olds, they can only work 3 hours in the evening time, and so they pretty much come in the night shift, and we pretty much, if you age out, and so this is really like a 1-year kind of intern ordeal. We want to teach you how to work, and then we have a lot of people that we partner with. Like we already had 3 students that we've shipped off, and so if other people kind of come in, they like, we looking for some good workers, our job ain't to keep them here. It's to train them, get them ready so Dreamland can take them, or South House or Central, somebody here local can definitely get a hold of them.
Sure. I know that the plan has received a lot of media attention, well deserved. I know that back in 2018, you were a community hero from the advertiser, so the public and the community is taking notice of what you're doing and being supportive, I think.
It's been awesome, just the way the community has been embracing, just the overall, kind of coming in, sharing the word. Just it's been a good experience, and the kids really get to see, because a lot of times the kids be like, man, maybe people don't understand us, maybe they don't have our back, but they get to see the community as a whole, like, you know what, we got y'all back, we're gonna come out and support, and so it's been overwhelmingly great.
Sure. And now your vision is not just to help young people, but you would like to see this stretch of Lower Wetumpka Road get uplifted as well.
Yeah, so that's my lifetime goal, and I was just asking, like, why here? Like, why exactly this place, And he was like, I want you to reshape this whole street, And it's funny too, because I was like, well, when I die, you know, after I redo this whole street, they're gonna have to name the street Charles Lee, you know.
Maybe we'll do it beforehand.
I know. You know what's crazy though? So do you know the name of this neighborhood?
This neighborhood, I do not know the name of this neighborhood.
It's so funny because it only lasts 3 blocks, this neighborhood. It's called Charlestown.
Bang! So it was meant to be.
God already knew. When I told somebody that, I was like, you might not even know it because it's so small.
Right.
But the name of this neighborhood, like as y'all leave, right, you'll see it's like 3 blocks on the left. It says Charlestown. You know what I'm saying? So God just put me right here to be like, look, this your town already. I need you to get to work.
Sure.
And across the street is called Newtown.
Yeah.
So it's like a new town being shaped in Charlestown. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's just kind of how God talked to me though, you know? Because I didn't even know it was called Charlestown until somebody was like, I told somebody, was like, hey, after I get done, they're gonna have to name it. Like, man, the neighborhood already named after you. I was like, look at God, you know?
Here it
And
is.
so we got a 10-year plan, and like we pretty much kind of got this campus kind of almost up and going, and so we want to implement a couple of different things this year, like the entrepreneurship team marketplace, and then within 5 years, our goal is to put a performing arts school in the back, in this property back there. We want to kind of have like a arts academy or whatever, just so the kids in this neighborhood can definitely have a good quality education. And instead of them joining gangs and stuff like that, they can definitely belong to the theater club or the poetry club or the dance team. And so we think that'll be really, really cool in this neighborhood. And then after that 5th year, after we got the campus and everything is secure here, and we have a good model, then we want to take it and put it in Birmingham to see if we could definitely make some kind of impact there. And so that'll be our 6-year goal. And then within 2 years after that, we want to make sure we monitor it and see what we could do to make it better. And then we want to take it to Florida, we want to take it to Pensacola, you know, and definitely see how we can implement it there. And then 10 years, I want to take it back to Chicago. You know, that's my 10-year plan. I want to go back to Chicago. I want to have a
Wait,
model.
you can't live in Chicago. You're just going to export the program to
That's
Chicago.
correct. That's correct.
We need you here in Montgomery.
Oh yeah. So
okay, so you see me on this one. Okay, all right. Just make it sure.
I ain't trying to go back and deal with that snow full time ever.
For real.
But I want to make an impact. You know, my family's still there. I got a lot of little cousins still kind of going through those stretches, and so I want to make an impact. I know I won't be able to change the whole city, but I could definitely feel like we could put a damper on put a damper on the neighborhood, though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you change 1 or 2, that's really changing the whole city, because that could be somebody that messed up the whole city. Right. So.
Now, you're already also attracting attention from people who are from outside of the community. Mm-hmm. I know that it wasn't too long ago that Lil Boozy, now I don't know who Lil Boozy is, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup or tell you any song that he sang, but apparently he's a big deal in his community. So who is Lil Boozy, and how did you come to his attention, and what were his thoughts when you took him on a tour of your campus here on Lower Wetumpka Road?
Yeah, so Lil Boosie is one of the rappers that a lot of our kids view as real. Just because he's not one of those rappers that kind of talk one lifestyle and live a different lifestyle. He was actually in prison for life. Like, he had a life sentence for, you know, murder and a couple of other, you know, things like that or whatever. And so he actually beat the case. You know, he beat the case or whatever, and he ended up, you know, having a second chance at life. And with that second chance at life, he was just like, look, I want to start doing good. You know, I want to stop doing so much bad. I want to start doing good in my life. And so someone reached out to me, and this maybe been about a year ago. And so we have the Gents to Gentlemen program, where we have a lot of kids that's in an alternative school. For academics, they got to be 2 or 3 grade levels behind. And so he was saying, what if I brought one of these guys to my mansion in Atlanta every time they made A's and B's to give them some incentives? And so we was like, let's try it out. And so last year we started taking whoever made A's and B's, they get to go to Boosie Mansion. And so they kind of started a relationship, and he was like, man, I want to come down and actually see what y'all doing. And so he came down and he loved it, you know, to the point where he like, look, what I got to do to start one of these in Baton Rouge, you know. And so
already the Charles vision, the Charlestown Empire
already
has
manifested,
been exported, yeah.
And that wasn't in my vision, you know. And so we trying to talk through, you know, because I don't want to, every time somebody come with something, I definitely want to make sure that it's good with God first, you know, because it's all about what he really want us to do, you know. And so, but you know, we definitely working out a franchise model or whatever, just so if people do want to That's My Dog Junior in their city, you know, we could definitely, because it's going to still help here as well, and it's going to help get the word out and kind of get kids in different areas off the street, put them to work.
Good deal, good deal. Well, you've told us about some of the other things that are going on elsewhere on the campus. Why don't we grab the cameras and let you give us a tour?
Let's do it.
All right. So this is the Teens to Work
Right.
room. Or
So
what-
yeah, this is the Teens to Work room because as we come, as the kids sign in, they get their name badge, they get right to work in here. And so they pretty much can research their homework, projects. This gives them this gives them an opportunity. They don't have to go to the library. They could come right here. Whatever research they got to do, they could do it right here. They can print off whatever they need to print off right on site. We got a smart board we do a lot of work on Kahoots with, and it just gives them an opportunity to get to work in this room. And it also started from the Teens to Work program that we have, where kids actually learn about working. They learn about a job. They go through a 3-week program, and it just lets them know all about, how to get the job.
Now, when it's at its busiest, how many young people do you have here doing their stuff?
So we have 15 to 20 that's able to fit in this room right here, and then we have the connecting point where they have to kind of migrate to there's too many in this room.
Yeah, now, is there ever strife because someone's taking too much time at the computer and I got to get my work done, or everyone's?
So it used to be, but now we have laptops as well. So the laptops go in the connecting point, and so if you don't have any space with the computer at hand, you just go and grab a laptop and then go in the connecting point, and it's a cool chill out room in there as well.
And do the teens have all of the computer skills that they need to maximize this, or you guys are indoctrinating them in how to use technology as well?
Yeah, so we have tutors to come in every day from 3:30 to 4:30, and we pretty much knock out whatever tutoring needs, whatever it might be, whether it's computer or whether it's math, science, and so we have different people to come in every day and pretty much kind of help them out through those.
Awesome. Take me to the next spot.
All right, cool.
So we going on Facebook or something, sir?
It'll be on TV.
On the news?
No, it's not gonna be on the news. It'll be on the Capital City Connection, the city's public access channel. So yeah, it'll run.
Someone's taking too much time at the computer and I got to get my work done, or everyone's.
So it used to be, but now we have laptops as well. So the laptops go in the connecting point, and so if you don't have any space with the computer at hand, you just go and grab a laptop and then go in the connecting point, and it's a cool chill out room in there as well.
And do the teens have all of the computer skills that they need to maximize this, or you guys are indoctrinating them in how to use technology as well?
Yeah, so we have tutors to come in every day from 3:30 to 4:30, and we pretty much knock out whatever tutoring needs, whatever it might be, whether it's computer or whether it's math, science, and so we have different people to come in every day and pretty much kind of help them out through those.
Awesome. Take me to the next spot.
All right, cool.
What number is it? So we going on Facebook or something, sir?
It'll be on TV.
On the news?
No, it's not gonna be on the news. It'll be on the Capital City Connection, the city's public access channel. So yeah, it'll run.
Someone's taking too much time at the computer and I got to get my work done, or everyone's.
So it used to be, but now we have laptops as well. So the laptops go in the connecting point, and so if you don't have any space with the computer at hand, you just go and grab a laptop and then go in the connecting point, and it's a cool chill out room in there as well.
And do the teens have all of the computer skills that they need to maximize this, or you guys are indoctrinating them in how to use technology as well?
Yeah, so we have tutors to come in every day from 3:30 to 4:30, and we pretty much knock out whatever tutoring needs, whatever it might be, whether it's computer or whether it's math, science, and so we have different people to come in every day and pretty much kind of help them out through those.
Awesome. Take me to the next spot.
All right, cool.
What number is here? So we going on Facebook or something, sir?
Well, it'll be on TV.
On the news?
No, it's not gonna be on the news. It'll be on the Capital City Connection, the city's public access channel. So yeah, it'll run.
Someone's taking too much time at the computer, and I got to get my work done, or everyone's.
So it used to be, but now we have laptops as well. So the laptops go in the connecting point, and so if you don't have any space with the computer at hand, you just go and grab a laptop and then go in the connecting point, and it's a cool chill out room in there as well.
And do the teens have all of the computer skills that they need to match? All right, Charles, what's the name of this room?
Yeah, so this room right here is the connecting point because that's exactly what we're doing
You're
here.
connecting here.
We connect. So we're ran with 3 different boards. And so we have a student board, a junior board, and a board of directors. Our student board, we believe that every idea, we want it to come from the students. We don't want to say, hey, this is what y'all want to see in this community.
So they have some say in what's
Once
the
a
structure
month,
is. Yeah.
once a month they meet and they give us ideas. They let us know what they want to see, whether it's a dance studio or recording studio or restaurant, like whatever they want to see. We pretty much kind of take their ideas and we pretty much talk about it and make sure it's a good idea. Then we take it to our junior board. Our junior board is a group of young professionals from 21 to 35. They help us work out logistics. They pretty much let us know if it'll be a good program, if it's gonna cost too much, if it's gonna be safe for the kids, and they would just help us work out logistics all the way around. And then we take it to our board of directors, and our board of directors, they help us with the resources because we got to get this stuff paid for. And so that's pretty much what happens. So if the kids come in and they don't have any homework, then they have to get a book and do 20 minutes of reading. So they do a lot of reading. We got a lot of books in here for them to actually be able to kind of do some quiet time, just a good.
Do kids still read books, or it's all on tablets and everything?
Yeah, so here
Okay.
they read, and they actually earn points. And so we got a point system every day where they can actually go to the store, and every time they come in here and read, we got a reading circle. So everybody gets 20 points for just coming in and reading for 20 minutes.
Now, tell me an idea that had its genesis on the student board and worked its way through and became a reality.
All right, so the dance team, pretty much we had 3 different dance teams. At first we just had one, and they were pretty much doing like one style of dance. And so the junior board was like, hey, different kids don't like that dance. They like this kind of dance. And so now we have 3. And so our genres of dance is we have hip hop, ballet, and also jazz. And so at first we was just only doing hip hop. And so they were like, let's break it up and let's do some different stuff. And so that's pretty much one of the things. Also, the Team to Work, that pretty much came from them as well.
Okay.
Because they all kind of said they want jobs and we just didn't know how to kind of get them jobs. So they was like, what if we start a program where we put teens to work, And so that was their program as well.
Now, I saw a rack of clothes over there in the corner. What are those clothes for, and where do they come from, and how do they help your protege?
Yeah, so like the Teen to Work, every one of the students have to come to the Teen to Work program dressed professional. And this gives them, so they don't have an excuse of, hey, I don't got no suit, so I don't got no professional clothes. Yes, you do. You just look right over here on this clothes closet. You can find your size because we have so many clothes come in and out per week. And so as they start the Teen to Work program, they get 10 items, 10 tops, 10 bottoms, and they pretty much can, kind of go to work, mix and match, And so just give them a good opportunity so they already have clothes provided for them if they don't have clothes already at home.
And you said sometimes the students will get laptops and come in here into this room and do, what are they doing with the laptops?
And so if their room get too crowded over there with the computers and they still have to do some research or they need to go online, they just come and grab a laptop. We got 20 extra laptops available for them. So all they got to do is grab a laptop and kind of come on in here and they can still kind of connect it to the Bluetooth printer so it'll still be able to print off.
Okay. Show us what else is marvelous
All
and
right,
next.
cool, man.
All right, I can just tell from the view right here that this is a room that I'm going to love for sure.
Yeah, this is the party room right here. Yeah, so a lot of our kids, as we do arts. We love arts, and so a lot of them really take their pieces home. But the pieces that don't get taken home, they get stored in here. So have a lot of cool stuff. I don't know. It's a young man, his name Aaron, and they do self-reflection. It looks just like him, Yeah. They do a lot of cool things. Like the umbrella. It's like rain in colors, It's just like a lot of cool stuff.
Well, who is teaching them how to make these kind of masterpieces? Is
So,
that you as well?
And
or-
that's not.
Okay, all right.
Every class has its own instructor, and so we have a really cool art teacher. His name is Milton Madison. He's with 21 Dreams around here. I don't know if you heard that. It's really cool. And so him and Janice Black, they pretty much team up every Tuesday. And so every Tuesday is a lot of art going on here, visual arts. They let them paint through 3D paint, just a lot of really, really cool stuff. And also, we store all of our snacks and stuff in here as well, because a lot of kids in this community, they come and they're hungry after school, and so we greet them with a snack. And so we try to make sure that we always have something available for them.
So you're feeding their bellies and their creative desires. Nice,
right.
nice,
Yes,
nice.
yes, sir.
Show me the next masterful
All right,
piece
cool.
here. Charles, this looks like the big bucks room. You got some very impressive money amounts from some very generous donors. So what's the story behind?
Yeah, so this is kind of like a motivation room. Even when we looking down and we like, man, you know, we just kind of come in here and it just makes everybody feel better just to see how the community supported us. But this room is actually called Flipping the 334.
Flipping the 334.
Yeah, flipping
like
the
flip this house or something.
Yeah, like
okay.
flip. Yeah, man. So it's Flipping the 334 because that's exactly what we want to do. Even want to kind of turn it into a little TV show where they can kind of see homes being kind of, you know, redone from abandoned to really, really looking nice, headed towards downtown Montgomery. And so our goal is this street, that's a Lower Wetumpka Road, there's a lot of just dilapidated homes.
It's called Lower Wetumpka Road for now.
Right.
But later on, it's going to be
something a little different. Yeah, but our goal is to really just rehab them. And so we see that there's a lot of just abandoned, just vacant homes. And it really looks bad for our community. You know, our kids have to walk to and from, and they deserve some really nice stuff. And so our goal is from here all the way back down to Montgomery, we want to give the whole street a facelift. And it'll be called the Flipping the 334. So we'll start off with just the homes that people still live in. They just look bad and look abandoned. We're going to see what their needs are, you know, kind of see how we can help assist them, whether it's a little paint, a little sheetrock, a little electrical, plumbing, see what we could do to actually just help them out, to definitely get a nice curb appeal for now. But we're definitely going to work with the city and the county to try to put some pressure on all of these other homeowners to see if we could definitely get them to do one or two things. A, fix it up and make it look nice for our community because our kids and we deserve it. Or B, they can sell them to us so we can work with like Home Depot, we can work with Lowe's, and we can definitely kind of rehab the homes for them and make them look nice. They sell them to us, we'll make them look nice, and we can put some single parent families back in there, back into the community and teach them about home ownership at a really, really affordable rate. So within 5 years, they can own a home. And a lot of times when you own a home in a community, you're more invested in, you want to get involved, you want to see it change. And so that's our goal for Flipping the 334.
All right, now this is a very, well, all of the checks are impressive and great generosity and really demonstrate a vote of confidence in you. But why did Lowe's give you $64,000 and what was the story behind that? Did you just knock on Mr. Lowe's door and say, I would like $64,000, please?
No, man. So we let them know what we were doing in the community, and we told them like, hey, we're trying to rehab a property, which we're here now, and we was like, hey, it just needs some upgrades, and we wrote to them, and we actually just wrote for $30,000. We was like, hey, $30,000, we can definitely do this, that, and the third. And they was like, well, it looked like you got a lot going on, and you think $30,000 is going to be enough to cover it. And we was like, well, actually, the whole project will cost $64,000, but we didn't want to ask for so much our first time asking you guys. And they was like, no, we believe in what you're doing. We want to give you the whole $64,000. And so that was really awesome because a lot of times, you know, they would try to cut you down, you know, and say, hey, well, I know you asked for 30, we'll give you 10, you know, but in this case, God actually blessed and he gave us double the amount that we actually originally asked for.
I've been around a lot of nonprofits. I don't think I've ever heard of a giver, a donor saying, no, you've asked for too little.
Right.
We're going to double it. That's miraculous.
The favor, man, the favor of God. So.
Okay. Let's go to our next place here at the spot.
All right, so this room right here is the state-of-the-art dance studio.
Okay.
So
this looks like the real deal. I mean, it's got the floor, it's got the mirror,
yeah,
it's
man,
got the trophies, you got the
Let's go. Yeah, so as you can see, like our kids were winning trophies. They were going over, kicking butt, but we were practicing in the Chisholm Community Center on a hard concrete floors. And so they were learning stunts and Oh, when it went bad, it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so when we said we got our forever home, we wanted to definitely hook them up with something really nice. And so we wanted to put down nice floors where it was comfortable for them to learn stunts and be able to dance, mirrors so they can really see themselves. Both of the bathrooms is fully equipped with showers. And so a lot of times our kids practice right before they have a performance. And so this helps them so they don't have to go sweaty or smelling bad. And even a lot of kids that just don't have the luxury of having hot water in the program, they can definitely utilize it and take showers, as well as, you know, we have a place where they can wash and dry clothes. And so any family that's a part of this program, they could come in and also wash and dry clothes as well.
Now, tell us about any success stories. Are there any young prodigies who are now dancing in?
Yeah, so we have a young girl over there. You look on the picture over there, young Victoria. You know, she started here 6 years ago or whatever, and kind of went through high school dancing, and now she's at Morehouse doing her thing on the dance team. And so there's a lot of really cool things kind of go on here. And so we have a Zumba going on in here, we have a yoga going on in here, and we have 3 different dance teams. So we have a ballet dance team, we have a jazz dance team, also a hip hop dance team.
Who is doing the dance instruction, and what volume of hours per week are your young dancers engaged in the activity?
So dance is one of the biggest programs that we have here.
Really?
And so we do dance Monday, we do dance Tuesday, we do dance Thursday and Friday. And so it's pretty much, and it's different teachers. And so every genre has a different dance teacher. We have a lot of young guys from Alabama State that's going to school right now for dance in the dance department. They definitely come out in here and help. On Tuesdays, we have the Stingettes. They come out and they do majorette, you know, dancing with the kids as well. We have a young lady from Huntington that's doing ballet. And so just pretty much the community all around come together to kind of help them out through all these different dances.
Now, what I love about this is that a while back we had an obesity ranking that we were not proud of, and even our young people were overweight or obese because they weren't getting enough physical activity. So in the other building, you're preparing them academically and training their mind, and then over here, you're taking care of the other aspects of the child to make sure that they are healthy as well. So,
that's correct, man. That's correct. That's why we painted this building purple. It just represents youth and fitness. And so everyone comes in here, it's fit time. We also do aerobics in here. So we have a young guy come in on Wednesdays, and they usually do aerobics at 4:30 in here as well. Just kind of, you know, just kind of beefing them up, manning them up or whatever. So it's pretty awesome.
Now, if I'm a youngster and I want to be involved in the dance or the Zumba or the aerobics, do I have to pay something to be a
So
part of it?
everything, all of these programs here is 100% free. So all you have to do is sign up. Your parents come through, take a tour, sign you up, give us one Proctor Support report card. We just got to know where you are academically, and then your parents just have to write a one-pager pretty much about your behavior at home. That way we can address it every 6 weeks to kind of as our measuring tool.
And I know that there's even more awesomeness on the other side of that door, so lead the way.
Let's dance on to it. Hey! And now, this is one of my favorite rooms on campus. This is called the Teen Marketplace.
The Teen Marketplace.
Where young entrepreneurs are born, right here in this room.
All right, now what's this case over here?
Yeah, these kiosks, these stands right here will represent the kiosks for the students.
Right.
And so in this room, we want to show them the difference. Of course, they want to work, but we want to show them the difference between riches and wealth. Yeah. Riches is really working really hard right now to acquire some houses and cars and things, but wealth is setting up a financial system for generations to come. And so we want to show them that because it's important for our community that our kids know about entrepreneurship.
I believe that the only path to real wealth is entrepreneurship.
It is, because with that job, you can only do one of 3 things. You quit, get fired, or retire. But you can't pass that job down to your son, and he can't light a fire and pass it down to his daughter. And that's how you accrue real wealth. Wealth in the community is not just about working really hard today, but about building the future for tomorrow for the next generation. And so this right here, this summer, we'll be definitely launching the Entrepreneurship Summer Camp in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce. And so every student that makes it in here, they'll get a one-on-one mentor through business with the Chamber of Commerce, and also a little seed money. So they can buy products, they can pimp out their kiosks, because right now it's just a purple kiosk.
Right.
But with the right branding, they can put their logos down, they can put some lights in the inside, and really make it special. And so this summer we'll be hosting just an entrepreneurship camp, just teaching them all about business. But at the end of that camp, it'll be pretty much a Shark Tank pitch, where all 40 students will be coming before a panel, and they'll see who has the best business plan, who has the best business model, and they'll actually get a spot in here where they'll get one of these, they'll get a shelf where they can put all their products, they'll also get a business license so they can definitely kind of...
The business license, on behalf of everyone at the City of Montgomery, I say thank you and cha-ching.
Yes, it's going to be really, really nice, because we want them to know what it's like to run a real business. You know, a lot of times you have a lot of programs, and it's really cute, but it don't set you up for success. And so here they'll pay $50 a month, a little small booth rent, so they can see what it's like to pay rent. And then their exit strategy is to pretty much implement their business right back into the community. So after the first year of them being in this program, they'll start working on a business plan of, just like we have dilapidated homes on the street, same thing with businesses, closed down businesses or just vacant lots. And so they'll start working on a business plan to kind of try to get this building or one of these empty lots, because not a lot of people are going to come back and invest in this war zone out here, but our kids will.
And I see a finite number of kiosks, so that's almost going to be a lesson in and of itself.
It is.
You better come correct with a business model that's going to be attractive, or else you don't even get into the first level of the program.
And you don't, but you might still get, you might just still kind of get that mentor for life. And so, because we don't want to end here, and we'll definitely be kind of interviewing every year. So you might not get in the first year, but you'll have all the necessary tools. So next year you can definitely apply for the summer camp. So you can definitely kind of get you a spot in here next year.
It almost sounds a little bit like Nipsey Hussle, the rapper out in LA who was tragically murdered, how he invested in his own neighborhood and brought commerce there. So you're building some future entrepreneurs, and at the same time, they're learning the value of giving back.
And you know, one thing I could say to that whole thing with the Nipsey Hussle is that since he died, he became a legend.
Yeah.
Just imagine if people got involved before he died, what could have impacted it could have made. And that's one thing we got to stop doing. We got to stop glorifying people when they're dead. You know, we got to start jumping on board to help. And so maybe before I die, right, people can come in, they can say, you know what, I could be a mentor to a business owner. I started a business, I could definitely help, and we need more people to get involved ground floor and not when it's too late.
Right. And you never know who your protege might be. It might be someone that starts their own Microsoft, or their own who knows what.
Yeah, and so whatever their ideas are, we definitely want them to come in, whether it's t-shirts, whether it's bow ties, cologne, jewelry, shoes, whatever it is that's in their heart. We wanted to put it on paper, and let's see if we could definitely put it into fruition.
Well, take me over to this case over here at the end, because that looks like someone's already following that example.
Yeah. All right, and so over here will be the first student-led optical. And so over here in North Montgomery...
Wait. The students are going to make real prescription eyewear for your customers.
They are, man. Every student that wants to definitely pursue themselves in the medical career, they'll get an opportunity right here at the spot. And so if you need any glasses in North Montgomery, you just can't find any optical wear. You have to go downtown or out east. And we want to change that, and because not a lot of doctors are willing to invest in North Montgomery, but we have another doctor. We have a doctor, Dr. Wynn, and she saw what we had going on here, and she said, I would love to train some students so they can actually lead this cause themselves.
Right.
And so we'll actually be doing that. So they actually can't give the diagnosis. So she'll actually be diagnosing the eyes. But the kids will definitely be able to do everything else besides that. They'll actually be the technician for the glasses, also the contacts. They'll be booking the patients pretty much. And whatever is going wrong with the glasses or whatever, they could be able to fix them. And they'll actually run this optical themselves.
Now this is the kiosks were good. I see the vision. This makes the reality seem like it's a little bit more in grasp, and I'm imagining that your young proteges are seeing that as well, and they may have never even thought about being an optician or an optometrist or ophthalmologist or whatever, something, but this is.
But this
is
gives
real,
them
Charles.
hope, and it definitely is doing two things. It's definitely showing our kids how to be entrepreneurs, and it's actually solving one of our needs in North Montgomery. And so it's killing two birds with one stone, because I personally have to drive somewhere in order to get my glasses fixed or to get a different prescription. I have to drive somewhere outside of the neighborhood. Wouldn't it be so much more convenient if I had a place inside of the neighborhood that could definitely help me with my eyewear or my optical needs? And so that way, now we do have that place. We have that place right here in North Montgomery where definitely you're helping out with the students so they can definitely learn a different trade, a different ability to become entrepreneurs. And you're also helping yourself by not having to go outside of your community just to get some glasses.
Charles, thank you for this tour. I don't know what I'm more impressed with, the delicious food over at That's My Dog Junior, the room where you're working on their academics, the room where you're working on their physical health, or maybe the room here where you are growing our next generation of entrepreneurships. Thank you so much for what you're doing for the community now.
Well, the tour not over yet.
It's
We got
not
just
over.
a couple
We
more
got
things
more
to go.
things to go.
Just a couple more things,
My
man.
bad.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh,
lead
yeah.
us to the next place.
All right, let's go, man.
All right.
So, welcome outside, man. It's a little hot, but it's awesome out here,
That's
man.
because you got too much space with too much awesomeness going on inside, but there's more awesomeness outside as well.
So, a lot of kids love art,
Right.
but they'll never be able to make it to our campus to experience that.
Yeah.
So, our answer for that was the art bus.
The art bus.
The art bus, man. And so, every Wednesday, our goal is to take this bus to underserved communities.
Oh, the bus actually moves.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
I
We
got
can
you.
drive it up and
Yeah.
crack it up now. But yeah, we want to take it to underserved communities so they can definitely still express themselves through art as well. So every Wednesday night, we'll pull up in a different community, whether it's Gill Village, Patterson Court, and the kids have an opportunity to listen to some music, get on a bus, receive some chips and a juice, and then they'll put their canvases up so they can just kind of paint their stress away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there a plan for an art show to exhibit the best masterpieces of That's My Child, or what's?
I like that. So we
Okay.
haven't even thought that far yet.
Yeah.
We just want to kind of give kids just a different outlet that might couldn't make it here. But yeah, we definitely want to do some good competition to see what neighborhood definitely has the best art piece. You know,
Yeah.
that's a good component we ain't even thought about yet, man. So thanks for thinking for us.
And what's the response when children in the other communities see the That's My Child bus?
Man, they
rolling
just
up?
love it. It really takes everything to a different atmosphere. You know, everybody just come and you be like, wow, what is this colorful bus doing in this neighborhood or whatever? And then they hear about just arts, you know, and be like, wow, well, I would love to paint. I would love to kind of do something to take my mind off of what's going on in my neighborhood. And that's what art does. Art takes you to a place where mentally and where you can go where you can't go physically, you know. And so with arts, you could definitely kind of go to all kind of levels. Your imagination can take you off into space, and you could be in a neighborhood with violence and crime and death going on all the time. So that's our goal. Our goal is just to kind of help you escape your reality, you know.
Charles, I cannot thank you enough for the entire city, for you giving so selflessly of yourself, for using your experiences and your gifts and just harnessing these blessings and showering them among all of your kids. Thank you for what you're doing here in Montgomery, man.
Man, thank you, Mike. Thanks for taking the time out, man, to come and take this tour with us, man. We appreciate you.
Continued blessings. And we want to thank you for joining us right here on Montgomery Focus. We'll see you right here next time with That's My Dog
Junior.